clubs in the history of the UEFA Champions League gets booted out of the competition. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Sports Daily with me, JOSIAH OKOE. But in the first segment of the show, we'll be talking about the UEFA Champions League games that were played yesterday. Bayern Munich were given a scare, and it took until the 4th minute of injury time for Alphonso Davies to strike for them. That saw them into the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League. But in the game we witnessed, it was Milan at home. And guess what happened? Milan just couldn't beat Feyenoord. Theo Hernandez being sent off, and it was Feyenoord that sails through to the next round of the competition. There are games coming up today. The biggest one will be at the Bernabeu, the Santiago Bernabeu, because 15-time champions will be playing against Manchester City. It's Madrid against City in the reverse fixture, or in the first leg. Real Madrid actually got their very first win at the Etihad, and they'll be hoping to sail through. But let's return to that game between Milan and Feyenoord, because Kyle Walker spoke, and then also David Hanko, who was adjudged man of the match, also spoke.
With how he was controlling the game, I think definitely in the first half, and obviously the start of the second half, there was only one side going to win it, but the referees gave the decision. I've not seen it, so I can't say if it's the right or the wrong decision, but you know, that's changed the game.
What happened in the second time, in particular way, with Theo Hernandez is difficult.
No, he's got sent off, but I don't know if he's dived or he's not dived. I've not seen the action back. The referee spoke to me and he said it was, you know, 100% dive, but for me he didn't. The referee spoke to me and said he maybe thought there was contact and goes down. I don't think, for me I don't think, but I've not seen it on TV.
Yeah, it's amazing, and yeah, especially nobody was thinking that we can go through this, and it's something amazing when you look at our traveling squad, because we have so many injured players, and so I'm so happy, and for sure it's one of my biggest achievements in my career so far.
All right, so David Hanko, he was adjudged man of the match in that game between AC Milan and then also Feyenoord. But Kyle Walker, he's on loan from Manchester City. He says he wasn't really sure if that red card was actually warranted after his left back, that's Theo Hernandez, was sent off for a second bookable offense for stimulating. So it was a very terrible night for Milan in the UEFA Champions League. We'll be looking at other games as well, but we'll also be joined via Zoom for some more in-depth discussion as far as the Champions League games are concerned. Good afternoon, Felix Romak. Can you hear me, Felix?
Yeah, I can hear you, JOSIAH.
Right, so, Felix, welcome to the afternoon Sports Daily show. But first of all, let me take your quick remarks about the new format and how interesting the playoff round has been. What do you make of the games played yesterday? Because some of the heavyweights we were anticipating to actually sail through to the round of 16 got booted out. Most especially, that's AC Milan.
Well, I must say, on the lighter note, investors weren't happy because there was no home wins in the 4 games that were played, yesterday. And I think that for me, I'll pick the Monaco versus Benfica game in Portugal. That was one cracking game. I never expected Monaco to go to Portugal and then score that number of goals. But hey, Benfica this season has given us a few weeks ago. That was another Champions League classic. And yesterday, we saw another one from them when they drew 3-3 with AS Monaco. It was a game that they needed to pick up to the next round, and boy, they did quite that. And the quality of goals that were scored in that game were quite impressive. But I must get the needed results, probably push it into extra time, and then who knows, maybe win it from there. But I must say it was a very disappointing performance. But kudos to Feyenoord. I was thinking that maybe in the latter part of the game, because they had used a lot of energy to defend that, when they got the equalizer, they will get tired at the dying embers of the game. But hey, they rallied and knew very well that should they get the scoreline to be 1-1, they will qualify for the knockout stage for considered a goal. But kudos to them. I think we should give them credit. Milan haven't been performing well in the Champions League and even in the Italian league this season. So Feyenoord deserve to go through.
Now let's talk about one of the games that actually produced a very, very shocking result. That's the game between Atalanta and then also Club Brugge from Belgium. But it's not actually the result that has, sparked so much controversy. It's actually some quotes made by the Atalanta manager that Gasperini towards Ademola Lookman. So in that game, Ademola Lookman missed the penalty, which could have actually propelled a potential Atalanta comeback. But talk to me first about the game before we talk about, the after, statement, the statement made by Gasperini towards Ademola Lookman being a poor penalty kicker. What do you make of the game? Quite shocking for you, isn't it?
Very, very shocking, especially at Bergamo, where you know that Atlanta have always been very strong. This season, they've played quite. So I think that kudos to Gasperini, because way back from last season, they were playing quite well. They were doing well in the Italian league. They transcended that into the Europa League, where they defeated the undefeated Bayern Leverkusen to win the trophy. And that also brought them to this season. And I think they were doing quite well, but they were under a lot of pressure. They were under a lot of pressure because results in recent time haven't been going their way. And I must say that in the first league, they lost that particular game due to bad officiating. But I was thinking that for a 1-0, a slim deficit in that particular game, they should be able to come to Bergamo and then get the needed results. And especially when AC Milan, that was another Italian side, have already been kicked out of the competition earlier before they took on Club Brugge. I was thinking that they would come out all gun blazing, but hey, they had a very poor start. They couldn't control their tempers, and I think that for me, I was very, very disappointed after the game, especially from the comment by Gasperini. But one thing about Jose, I want to say something.
Yeah, so you have to hold on for me. Let's just go to the Gewi Stadium and see what happened. All right, so Ademola Lookman, from being the hero in Atlanta's win in the Europa League when they beat Bayer Leverkusen by 3-0. Mind you, he scored a hat-trick in the grand finale. Yesterday, when they needed him most, he missed the penalty despite scoring seconds after coming on after halftime. But these were the quotes of Gianpiero Gasperini, that's the manager for Atalanta, and he said, and I quote, "Ademola Lookman is one of the worst penalty takers I've ever seen. He wanted to take the penalty after scoring a goal. He took the ball despite Retegui and Di Catalari available to take it. I didn't like what Lookman did." That is quite some strong and harsh words from Gianpiero Gasperini, the head coach for Atalanta Football Club. He just threw Ademola Lookman under the bus, and that was just quite evident and glaring how he criticized how poor Ademola Lookman is as far as taking penalties is concerned. And he even went on to say that there were other options who could have taken the kick. That's Retegui, who is the leading scorer for Atlanta this season, and then also Charles Di Catalari. So, Felix, these are the comments from the head coach of Atalanta Sporting Club or Football Club. What do you make of these comments?
Well, I think that they were very, very harsh comment, especially when it is out there in the public domain. Everybody would feel very disappointed especially when you're a footballer and your coach throws you under the bus in such a manner. These are no words that any footballer, no matter how experienced you are, you would want to take. And looking at somebody like Ademola Lookman, I think that Gasperini didn't really try for him, because this is a player who has gone through abuse way back in the English Premier League. He's been abused several times, even when it comes to issues with penalties. If you quite remember back then when he was playing for Everton. So these are some things that he's gone through this particular phase before. And I think that for everything that he's done for Atalanta, this is something that Gasperini should have addressed, especially in the dressing room. And for Lookman, he has released a statement, saying that the one who was supposed to take the penalty decided, Lookman, have the ball and take it. And sometimes players, even though coaches designate takers when it comes to penalties, in the heat of the moment, maybe, Josiah, you are supposed to take the penalty, but you feel that there is so much pressure under me, let me just give it to Felix Romac to take it. So sometimes it happens that way, and this statement is on the screen now. And I think that, for me, this is something that shouldn't have been addressed in the public domain. They should have been handled in the dressing room. But if you know Gasperini and the things that he's done for Atlanta and Bergamo, he's somebody who is so much respected. And trust me, the club is going to support him with everything that he has said. And it's very disappointing. I just hope that Lookman will go through this in a very good manner. I don't think it's something that I'm expecting to escalate, because you look at such a player who has been very good to Atalanta. He's even coming back from injury. He wasn't fully fit for this particular game, only for you to come in and then get such, I won't say abusive words, but harsh words from your coach. It will be very difficult for any player to take. But one thing I like is everybody, former footballers, the Nigerian FA, the Super Eagles, his ex-players, and even current players have come out to support Ademola Lookman on X. And that is something that I think should get him across this. But hey, I wish him the best. I've had a personal encounter with him before when we were doing the Ghana Football Awards, when he won the foreign player of the year, African best player of the year at the Football Awards. He's somebody who really wants to get the best out of whatever he does. And I'm sure that a comment like this, even though he's come out with a statement, he will take it down his chin and then build on that. I'm sure that if there is another penalty and he's given an opportunity, knowing Lookman, he will surely go for it.
I want to bring in the issue of racism, but you think race could be where the line is drawn, looking at the fact that those who even expressed interest to take the penalty were actually not blacks. And Ademola Lookman, being one of the few black men they have in the team, also, being thrown under the bus. Do you think it will be treated as such?
Well, Josiah, let me tell you something. When it comes to racial comment and racial slangs, I don't really want to go there, but truth be told, from whatever Gasperini said, there wasn't any racial comment in that. He said, you know what, you are not supposed to be on penalty duties. I've been seeing you at training. You are the worst when it comes to penalty shootout. You aren't supposed to. These are words that I will say to any player, but I won't say it in the open. If I'm a coach, if I'm a manager, I'll say it to you in your face at the dressing room. And Josiah, we've had footballers or players who were not supposed to be on penalty duties. They've missed penalty before. We've had players even quarrel among themselves when it comes to the responsibility of taking penalty shootouts. So if you are not the designated taker and you miss, share comments from the Italian manager.
So there are games also coming up later today in the UEFA Champions League. Yesterday, 4 out of the 8 games were played. Let's quickly take a look at the games coming up later today. So you can just give us your thoughts quickly. So these are the results from the games that were played. And there you can see them. Benfica 3, Monaco 3, Bayern Munich leaving it late through Alfonso Davies. They drew 1-1, but qualified 3-2 on aggregate. And you have Atalanta also losing 5-2 to Club Brugge on aggregate. And then AC Milan, one of the most shocking results. Back to the games scheduled later. For today, you have Borussia Dortmund hosting Sporting Lisbon at the Signal Iduna Park. And then also you have Paris Saint-Germain at home to start Brest-OS. They are going into the second leg with a 3-0 advantage. You also have Real Madrid against Manchester City, the biggest and the one I'll be taking your thoughts on. And then also the last game will be between PSV and then also Juventus. So, Felix, mainly on the Real Madrid and Manchester City game, you think there could be an upset, looking at the form of the two teams and then the fact that Real Madrid took the advantage away at Etihad?
Well, one thing about Real Madrid, when it comes to the Champions League, they are a different breed altogether. And I quite remember after the first leg at the Etihad, Vinicius said that he doesn't know what goes into the players spiritually or physically, whatever it is, when it comes to the Champions League. And that is the reason why they've won it several times. But my only disappointment is that we got more like the finals before the finals in the first leg, which clearly should have been the finals. If you look at Madrid and Man City, it's becoming more like a derby in the Champions League. And if you look at the last 4 Champions League, it's been won by these particular clubs. But yeah, I must say this, Madrid will surely be favorites at the Santiago Bernabeu. They played quite well. My only issue is the fact that City conceded a lot of mistakes. But when you have a team that is playing Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Mbappe up front, you don't allow them such mistakes. They are going to punish you. But trust me, if you want any team to also go out there and overturn the deficit, it can be City's pair. But I'm not trusting them because they haven't been performing in recent times.
Listen to the manager for Real Madrid, Carlo Ancelotti. He goes into the second leg at home with a 3-2 advantage.
Is the idea, and obviously we have to take into account every difficulty that we may have of this kind of games. I mean, of a playoff where everything is at stake in just 90 minutes. Hello, Javier Arraez from Cadena Ser. I would like to ask you about the game. That is what has brought us here. A great Champions League game, but everything that you speaking about after what we saw yesterday against, in the game between Barcelona and Rayo Vallecano, do you have anything to tell us? Because last Saturday you said in El Sadar, the last games, we see the images of what has happened in the Spanish league. I don't know if you have anything to say. Nothing to say. No comments. I've already give my opinion about what's going on. It's something quite surprising, and I have no further comments about it. Obviously, we're not happy of what has happened. What happened against Osasuna and against Atletico de Madrid. These are games where I think that we have been affected by some of the decisions that we still don't understand.
All right, so Carlo Ancelotti, Don Carlo, hoping to add to his already well-accomplished haul of UEFA Champions League trophies. He plays Manchester City later today. His side leads by 3-2. But other games coming up. Felix, if you're there, quickly, your predictions, which sides you'd see sailing through to the round of 16 before we head for a commercial break?
I think that for the Dortmund Sporting game, it's already decided, and then Paris Brestois game, those games were decided in the first leg. I don't see how Brestois will overturn a 3-0 deficit in Paris. Neither am I expecting Sporting to go to Dortmund and then overturn that result. I think that the main games have to be that PSV versus Juve game, and then the game at the Santiago Bernabeu this evening. Those are the games that you can say are very, very close. But I should say this, I think that the home teams in those two games have the advantage Real Madrid, advantage PSV, even though they'll be playing in Holland with a 2-1 deficit. But Juventus haven't been really good and consistent in the Champions League and even in the Serie A this season. But hey, they won. They got a very good result against Inter in the Italian league, or the Derby d'Italia, and that could be a motivation for them when they get to Holland this evening.
Felix, before I take leave of you, let's do a bit of Formula One, because yesterday at the O2 Arena in London, the liveries for 2025 were actually outdoored. Let's take a look at what happened. We'll be talking a bit about Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari and what we should expect from the Englishman. Days of Michael Schumacher and get something. Felix, if you're there, Lewis Hamilton driving for Ferrari, what do you make of it? Quite interesting, right?
Well, I think that, you spent 12 seasons with Mercedes winning 7 drivers' title. It's quite impressive. And I don't think that 12 years at one particular place certainly will get boring, especially when you are always winning. So sometimes you needed a change. And I think that it's made one of the best, moves to Ferrari. Ferrari, just as you said, they are the only team to have competed in the Formula One in the last 75 years. That is quite experience, because if you look at what they are doing, I think that if you are moving from Mercedes, that surely have to be Ferrari. They have so much experience. And for Lewis Hamilton, hey, I think that with Ferrari, he stands a chance of making it the 8th title in his career. In the past 4 seasons, it's been very, very tough for him. But hey, I wish him all the best. I'm a huge fan of him, and I watch Formula One because of him, and I'm hoping that he will get the very best out of Ferrari, and Ferrari will also get the very best out of him. And I'm hoping that this season he goes for the 8th title.
Our time with Ferrari now, but thanks very much, Felix Romack, for your time on the Sports Daily. We always appreciate your time over here. You're still watching the Wednesday edition of Sports Daily with me, JOSIAH OKOE. It's now time to go for a commercial break. When we are back, we'll be taking a look at some local stories, volleyball especially.
About non-crew consistent Dumienu Beboa. Program no air live on Max FM. Na nika sem ne se die. Ya system about non-do consistent Dumienu Beboa. Program no SIN live on Max TV. Ho any Boran Crofama so. Nya cover the major leagues around Europe. Bundesliga, the La Liga, the Premier League, Dutch Eredivisie. Any de kikaon. Afeso so about na kutukubon sem dia. Enwa any Max TV, Max FM. Unim se Bukom Boxing Arena. De biaya ho Professional Boxing League. Ya de hun semina ebeba Max Sports Park jumedie no so. Afeso so Ghana Premier League, the Women's Premier League, and the Division 1 League. Yeah, there's the statistics and all the details you want to know about the local football. And I think a good year sema ekoso yemaemu. Your segment this is the predictor. Emuhampa, yeah, the matches beba, yeah, but more odds. Now so what's me trivia DB? Sounds so any other big interviews and penifo kuku dan omo kasa edimu ewo Ghana. Any we are still good year sem. Omo any omo etwetwe komo. Inti shiame, minima bedwa for if it is Joada, ekosi fiada, ewo Max FM and Max TV. Hello, Ebusian 4. Your friend Nana Dakwa Jesse, the host of the Max Sports Park, ewo Max FM 89.7. If you Joada, ekosi fiada, about non-crew consistent Dumienu Beboa. Program no air live on Max FM. Na nika sem ne se die. Ya system about non-do consistent Dumienu Beboa. Program no SIN live on Max TV. Ho any Boran Crofama so. Nya cover the major leagues around Europe. Bundesliga, the La Liga, the Premier League, Dutch Eredivisie, any de kikaon. Afeso so about na kutukubon sem dia. Enwa any Max TV, Max FM. Unim se Bukom Boxing Arena. De biaya ho Professional Boxing League. Ya de hun semina ebeba Max Sports Park jumedie no so. Afeso so Ghana Premier League, the Women's Premier League, and the Division 1 League. Yeah, there's the statistics and all the details you want to know about the local football. And I think a good year sema ekoso yemaemu. Your segment this is the predictor. Emuhampa, yeah, the matches beba, yeah, but more odds. Now so what's me trivia DB? Sounds so any
All right, so thanks for sticking and stay with us. You're still watching Sports Daily with me, Josiah OKOE. Now it's time to do some local news. Let's talk a bit about the Black Queens of Ghana. They jetted from the country a couple of days ago, landed straight in Casablanca, and they've held their very first training session ahead of their friendly game against the Morocco national women's team on the 21st of February 2025.
Okay, we go.
All right, so the girls training ahead of that Friday game against Morocco in the next couple of days. So in the next 2 days, they'll be playing against Morocco. Quite a huge game for them. And you have came last Biakogren assembling an array of stars. Very competitive squad he named ahead of that game against Morocco. So we're wishing the Queens all the best of luck, and we'll bring to you all the latest development from that game against Morocco. Now let's do some volleyball news, where yesterday in Kaukuri in Accra, a new volleyball court was commissioned by the Calibi Volleyball Club, led by the flag bearer for the PNC, the People's National Council, that's Mr. Bernard Mona. So we have a report by Tony Bebley and myself.
Has begun as the Calibi Volleyball Club officially commissions its brand new court in Accra. This state-of-the-art facility is expected to boost community recreation and serve as the club's home ground in the Greater Accra Volleyball League. The commissioning ceremony saw the presence of key figures in the sporting fraternity, including Calabi Volleyball Club President and PNC flag bearer, Mr. Bernard Mona, alongside the President of the Ghana Volleyball Association, Mr. George Tete Esquire, and other notable personalities. Mr. Mona also called on the Ministry of Sports and Recreation to provide further support for similar projects nationwide.
This arena, we are challenging you to convert it into an indoor facility, not only for volleyball, but for the other hand sports. And I'm sure when you do that, it will become the biggest legacy that the volleyball fraternity will have from you. Today is a simple exercise. I am excited by the welcome that Greater Accra Volleyball Association gave our club. I'm also excited by the welcome that the Ghana Volleyball Association gave to us. We want to assure you that even as this is our first season, we have some of the seasoned technical men in our team. And so be assured that we are not just coming to participate, we are coming to win laurels for ourselves and for our nation.
Mark the occasion, the Calabi Volleyball Club held an exhibition match where Team Yellow secured a straight set victory over Team White. The women's team also took to the court, displaying incredible skill and teamwork. The men's team also took part in another thrilling exhibition game, showcasing the quality of the new facility. The president of the Ghana Volleyball Association, Mr. George Tete Esquire, commended the Calabi Volleyball Club for its commitment to developing the sport.
I love the enthusiasm and the discipline I see and the healthy rivalry that Calabi Volleyball is going to bring to the national volleyball. This year we are moving from the regional play to the National League Championships. So I pray that they foster well and join into the National League.
For the players, the new court is a game changer. They express their joy and appreciation for having a dedicated facility to improve their skills.
Oh, it will help us a lot because this is our home and the court is very nice. And I think it will be one of the best courts in Ghana here that people will enjoy playing on.
Oh, the court is fine. It's a new court and we are here to we started to adapt to the court. We'll be familiarize ourselves with the court. Then I think before we start the league, it will be our home and we'll be able to play here more than the team from outside.
With this new court in place, the future of volleyball in Kaukudi looks brighter than ever. The Calabi Volleyball Club now has a solid foundation to compete and grow, setting a precedent for other communities to follow.
The voice of my senior colleague, Tony Beverly, putting together this report. So the Kaukudi community finally have got a refurbished volleyball court to play on. Now moving on, in an exclusive interview with the General Secretary of the Ghana Football Association, Prosper Harrison Ado Esquire, he stated that the Ghana Football Association are still putting measures together to help secure match centers within the country.
I think that we've gone step by step in terms of our engagement with all the stakeholders. We've had a very successful meeting with the leadership of the Ghana Police Service at the request of the IGP. In that meeting, we brought up a lot of discussion points, finally finishing with about 33 action points to work on, a number of them for the police service and a number of them for the clubs and the football association. And so on the police side, we are fortunate enough for the police leadership to give us a sports police unit within the police service. Also, we would get regional sports security officers will be of a very high in the ranking of the police, who would be mandated to be in charge of safety and security issues affecting sports in the region. And so we also immediately were told by the IGP that they've taken the decision that the police academy, they would include training, the training manual for sports policing, which is very good for us, and we are grateful for it. Also, where there are opportunities, depending on where the academy is, the trainees, even at that stage, will be brought to some of the matches to work with the police officers so that they pick practicals from these, even at the training stage before they become police officers. So these are very good positives, and we are extremely grateful to the IGP and the police leadership for this. On our side, we've engaged with all the Premier League clubs, after which they issued their statement of support and solidarity, and also.
All right, so that's the General Secretary for the Ghana Football Association, Prosper Harrison Ado Esquire, speaking exclusively to Max TV, and he's talking about the fact that the Ghana Football Association are still making sure that they provide some safety or even increase other safety measures as far as match centers and then match venues is concerned. Now, we also got the chance to speak to the Greater Accra Football Association chairman, that's George Samuel Abrabri, a.k.a. Kata, and he also spoke about how far the GAFA has come and then the challenges they have met, but then also they are still hoping that it can make more or chalk more success.
I think, like you said, we've done a lot, putting a lot in it, especially my executive council members, my league board. They run the Division 2 league. One thing that we have that has helped us to reach where we are now is about officiating. I think our referees, they are the judges, and when you pass on a good judgment, at least it lets everybody see that you are playing a credible league. And so I would say the first thing is the match official with the referees. I think they are doing very, very, very well. When you watch most of our Division 2 games, you could see even our Division 2 games are being handled, some of the matches by FIFA referees, Division 1 referees, and Premier referees. So I would say first is the referees. They have done so well. They have done so well because they pass a judgment on the field of play. So if you don't pass good judgment, definitely nobody will respect that league. And I think they have done very well. Then the other thing to go to the organization, we make sure that when we go to Congress and we take a decision, we abide by that decision. When we go to Congress and we agree that 18 clubs will be relegated, the 18 clubs will go. I'll give you an example. Last year, my team was relegated. I'm the chairman of the association. Yeah, we were relegated, so we are now playing Division 3. So that brings out the best out of people. People say that, look, this man, when he says this, he does it. So I think the referees have done very, very well. Though I will not say we don't have challenges. We have challenges, but the referees, they have done so very, very well. So I've been telling the appointment chairman, that's the referee chairman, that he and his team committee have done very well. Though some of the games, go play 40 games a week, you may get 1 or 2 problems, but every week I would say I may mark them 8 over 10 or 9 over 10 as a whole. So I think it's officiating that has brought us where we are. And another thing to it, we have moved all the matches to good pitches. We no more play on what do you call it, a Sakura pitch, I would call the grassless pitch. We make sure that all the games are played on good pitches and play at a fence pitch, so that at least it will not create problem of hooliganism and maybe routes and the supporters. We don't give it so that they cannot come onto the field of play to maybe attack referees.
That's the RFA chairman for Greater Accra, Samuel Abuabri, also known as Qatar, speaking about the success he's chalked as chairman of Gafa. So quite interesting. Samuel Abriabri speaking to us. You can catch up with the full interview on our YouTube channel, Max TV G8 Bar. Now let's take a look at the FTN FA Cup fixtures for the round of 64, which is slated for the weekend of the 21st of February. Saturday, Sunday also has got games. I've got games coming up. So on Friday at the Tuba AstroTurf, 3 p.m. will be Atram Divisa facing Gold Star Sporting Club. Then on Saturday, 2 more games will be played. Mediama Sporting Club at the TNA Sports Stadium, also taking on Park Academy. That's a late kickoff, 6 p.m. That game has been scheduled. And then to the Tuba AstroTurf, where Golden Kick will be welcoming Accra Hearts of Oak. So the most successful club in the history of the FA Cup will be playing this weekend, Saturday, at the Tuba AstroTurf. Then on Sunday, 4 more games. Bekum Chelsea against Northern City, Kerala United against Young Apostles FC. You have Techiman Liberty Youth at the Winchi Sports Complex taking on Bechem United FC. Then True Democracy, also based in Tema, will be taking on FC Nania. So that leaves us with 1 more game, which has been rescheduled. So that game between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and 2nd D11 Wise has been postponed because we all know what's still happening. Kumasi Asante Kotoko is still grieving and mourning the passing of their staunch fan, Francis Frempong, popularly known as Poli. So, yeah, games coming up in the MTN FA Cup. 7 games, Kumasi Asante Kotoko's game has been postponed. On a sad note, Alaji Grusain, together with the entire King Faisal Sporting Club fraternity, mourned the passing of their late coach, Mr. Ichampo, popularly known as Sabuto. And there you have in the short players and then officials of the club, together with the bank roller of the club, who was also sharing some words of eulogy for the late coach Sabuto. That's where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Sports Daily with me, JOSIAH OKOE. Do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.